Hello everyone and welcome. Today's video is an unboxing of the box of the month from Not Too Shabby. This is May 2026 and I've got all of my elements here and we are going to take a look at what is included in the box of the month. And we are going to make 3 cards, a couple of them using some of the ephemera and then a watercolor card at the end, so stay tuned. Now she always includes a tea bag and some enamel dots in there, and then you've got 2 paper pads, 2 stamp sets, and 2 packets of ephemera along with some panel cards. So we're just going to start taking a look at them, and I'm going to start off with a Woodland Summer 6x6 double-sided paper pack, and we're going to get it out and take a look at it. And this looks like it's very colorful. So I'm just going to do a flip through. You've got some deer and some berries on the back, and super cute. A lot of red and green in this particular set. Very pretty. And then our next, we've got some leafy ferns, and we've got kind of a two-tone green, really pretty. And then we've got a scene on the back of it with some wood cabins. And then our next one includes some berries and some bears. So this is a great set. I was thinking my grandkids had just gone to Tennessee on a vacation, and my daughter had sent me a bunch of pictures, and I thought I could do some scrapbooking with this pattern paper and their visit, because I think that would go nicely. So we've got some more berries, and we've got like a red and white checked, almost like a tablecloth pattern. Here we have got some mushrooms, and with the red and the green, just really pretty. And then we've got the pine cones and then the pine leaves. We've got a brown pattern, and we've got, this one has the owls on it. It's really pretty. And so that is the Woodland Summer. There are 12 designs, and it's double-sided. And then we have got the paper, or the ephemera pack that goes with it. And we're just going to quickly look through some of the things that are included in there. I will tell you there are lots of berries, bees, ferns, and critters. Super cute. So we've got a little scene there with a little fire, a bird in a nest. We've got some raccoon. We've got some cups. That almost looks almost Christmassy with the pine cones and the fern. And so just lots and lots. Here's a wolf. We've got a tent scene, ephemera, this little mouse we're going to use on today's video, and a birdhouse. We've got a little wooden chair. Just super cute set of materials that we're going to be working with. And so that is the ephemera pack that pairs with it. Look at that fox. Is that adorable or what? Super cute. We're going to pair that with the Woodland Summer 6x6 pattern paper. And then we're going to look at our next set of paper. And I'm just going to grab it really quick. And we'll get this other paper out of the way so we can look at this. And then we've got what is called Summer Mountain Meadow paper pack. And it is really pretty. And again, we've got kind of more of the same colors. We've got yellow, like a yellow on the back of this, and then the floral here. These are just dainty little flowers that are red, blue, and yellow. And we've got the green with the yellow kind of cloudy look. And then we've got more berries. Super fun as we're going into summer. We've got a mountain scene with some real pretty flowers. Look, we've got some hiking boots. That's fun. I think that would be cute for those that like to hike. And we've got some more little mushroom patterns. And this is like kind of a mountain scene background. And we've got some more, another scenic look on the back of this. And then we've got another scene with kind of cabins. I'm going to use that pattern paper and these two on my watercolor card that we're going to put together here in a minute. And then we have got the Summer Mountain Meadow ephemera that's going to go with it. And this, again, we've got some scenes, we've got some girls, we've got some flowers, and I'm going to get it open and just show you some of the pieces of ephemera that go with it. And then stay tuned, because we are going to do 3 cards, and we'll put them together. They'll come together very quickly, because when you've got great pattern paper, ephemera, and card panels, A2 card panels, you can make quick cards. So here's the girl holding some flowers. We've got a cup, we've got hats, we've got flowers, lots of pretty coffee mugs, and there's our hat and just some florals. We've got a tent. So just a really outdoors, that's really cute. Look at that water bottle with a scene on it. And just lots of pieces of ephemera. Here's another little sign. And we've got a little coffee pot, and we have just lots of fun. Some boots. There's another girl with a backpack and the fox. Isn't that cute? I think we used that fox. Anyway, we've got a bear with a floral headband and a couple of bigger scene pieces in there. So lots of super fun pieces of ephemera. And there are plenty of pieces. So you can make a lot of cards with this. This pack is really, you get your bang for the buck out of this monthly kit, because you get the 2 ephemera packs, you get the 2 paper packs, you get the 2 stamp sets that are huge, and then the A2 panels are included in here as well. These are the A2 panels. If you don't have a big stash, you can just take these A2 card panels, and if you haven't had a lot of experience, you can slap these down on a card base and create some really quick and beautiful cards. Actually, you could frame these. These would look beautiful in a picture frame. I think that'd be a quick way to make a nice wall hanging. Now we've got the 2 stamp sets, and I'm going to bring them in. This one here is called Wild About You, and it's got all of the little critters and the mushrooms and some ferns, and we've got Wild About You, Brighter Days Ahead, Pick Happiness. We'll use Pick Happiness today. Many Thanks, Berry Sweet Wishes, You're Berry Special, Sending Woodland Hugs. And then we've got this cool scene one, and it's called Happy Trails, and we're going to use this scene, this big scene, to create a watercolor. And you've got The Journey Matters, Take the Scenic Route, which I'll use, and Nature's Calling. Great stamp set. So we're just going to get to working with this. I'm going to put all this away. I'm going to spend some time figuring out what I'm going to do, and then we're going to come back in and make some quick cards. So I thought we'd start off with the easiest. We're going to bring in the A2 size panel. We've got it with some mushrooms on here, and I'm actually going to trim it down because I want to layer it up, add a little bit to it. Now you could just glue this straight down and you'd have a great panel on your card. It's got some writing kind of in the background, and it's just a real soft scene. But I've trimmed it down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to bring in some red. I'm going to layer it up, and I'm going to trim this down to, let's see, I think I go 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, I think is what I do. And we're just going to have a tiny little red border around our A2 panel. Not much, effort into this. We're just going to layer it so that we have a little pop of red coming behind there. And then you grab a piece of ephemera and a sentiment, and you have got a card very quickly. So I'll just lay this down. I've got my side folding A2 card base. We're going to have a little white frame around there as well. I think that kind of adds to it. That's why I cut the red panel down the way that I did, so that we'd have a little bit of white popping. Then we'll layer our pattern paper on there, and it'll just be really pretty just like that. So we'll get this laid down on there, and then we'll bring in our ephemera. So these actually came together pretty quick. I've got the unboxing probably took the longest part of this video, and I think we're in under 19 minutes with everything, so not bad. So here is the fox. I thought this was cute. I saw the sentiment that said Pick Happiness, and I thought it was cute having this fox having picked the strawberries and the florals, and I thought the Picked Happiness would pair up nice with it. So we're just going to pop this fox up on the scene card, and then we'll use our Picked Happiness sentiment, and we'll add some enamel dots to it, and we'll have a really quick and simple card. We're just going to tuck him into the scene, and then we've got the tiny little squirrel down there that's looking kind of upward at the mouse, or at the fox. And then I've got my Picked Happiness sentiment that we're going to get laid down on here, and I just kind of cut it out on a diagonal, and I thought that was simple enough. And it's stamped. the sentiment is really fine, and it's stamped really clean and very easy. So I thought that was nice. So we're going to get that laid down on there. And I'll come back in later and add the enamel dots. I didn't have them in my site, and so I didn't immediately grab them. We're going to move right on to the next card. For this one, we're going to use some of the Woodland Summer pattern paper for this. I've got a couple of pieces of it, and we're going to layer it up. We're going to use that brown textured pattern. It's got the owls on the back of it, real pretty. I'm just going to show you the backs of them. And then we've got the mushrooms on one side and the acorns on the other side, or the pine cones on the other side. And we're just going to layer this up. I've got an alabaster top folding card base that we're going to lay it on. And then you can pick up in the shop some mini little doilies, and I'm going to bring those in and show you those in a minute. We're going to get this panel laid down, and I'll show you these cute little doilies that you can pick up in the Not Too Shabby shop. I like to use them when I can, and so I grabbed some of those, and it'll work perfectly with this card. So we've got that textured brown pattern paper, and we're going to bring in our mushrooms, and we're going to get them laid down on here. And then we're going to bring in some cute pieces of ephemera too, to pair with this. And we've got some simple card making. So there we go. We've got that laid down on there. Now here's, we're going to use this little mouse holding this little mushroom. And I've got a fern and I've got another mushroom. And I thought we could layer these up kind of in a cluster. And I've got a little bow too that we're going to add to it. So we're going to use 4 pieces of the ephemera on this card. And then I'm going to bring in those mini doilies, and I've actually die cut just a circle piece to go behind my doily. We're going to layer this up, and this is going to be the landing zone for our focal point, which is going to be our pieces of ephemera. So we'll get it laid down on there. And then hang in there, because that next card is going to be the scene card where I did a little bit of watercoloring. Now I did the watercoloring off camera, but I think it turned out really pretty. And I think it kind of gives you an idea of the scenic stamp set, what you can do with it, and it's really pretty. So we'll get all of our ephemera pieces laid down on this card, and I'm just going to lay the fern down, and we're just going to kind of cluster all of these together on the doily and just kind of tuck that in. And then we've got our little mouse. So we'll get our little mouse laid down, and we're going to put the little mushroom in front of the mouse and just kind of fill in our doily with that. And we'll get that laid down on there. I'm actually going to bring in a couple foam squares for that and just kind of pop it up since it's going to be in front of the mouse. And we'll get that laid down on there. And it's cute. And then for this one, I have chosen to use the Your Berry Special for this. And I've just kind of cut a straight edge on the bottom and kind of a wavy edge on the top. We're going to get this laid down, and we are going to add our little bow next to our sentiment, and I'll pop it up as well with a couple foam squares, and that will finish off the front of this card. And I'm just using some 1mm foam squares, so it's not a lot of dimension. Won't have any trouble milling this. Just give that a little press, and there we go. Super, super cute. Very fun. So we're going to move on to the next card, and this is our scene card, and I'll just bring in and show you what I've done. I just took and stamped the Happy Trails stamp set, and I did the scene card, and I've got Take the Scenic Route, and I just did a little watercoloring on some watercolor paper. I brought in one of my dies that was in my set that I thought would fit it very nicely. And I'm just going to layer these two up. I've got a couple of pieces of the pattern paper from the Meadows set. And I brought in just a piece of cardstock here that was in my stash. Corners were bent up a little bit, so I was trying to straighten them out and get this laid down on there. And then we're going to use that scenic pattern paper for the background, just to kind of tie our focal element into the scene. And look at that on the back. Isn't that just beautiful? So pretty. Really pretty pattern paper. So we'll get some glue on here and get this laid down. And then we've got a really pretty scene card. Super cute outdoorsy kit for the month. Just going to get that pressed down, and then we'll get our little scene laid on there. I'm noticing it's off a little bit, so I'll go off camera and cut it off. I used to get all stressed out when my card base was off, but now get the guillotine out, cut it down, and it makes a nice frame around there. And I don't think anybody's measuring my cards to make sure that they're exactly 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but it looks visually better. You know, if I've got a side with a bigger frame, just trim that off. And so that's what I do. I'm not going to fret over it. And then we've got our little scene. We're just going to glue this straight down. This is going to be a flat card, but I think it looks pretty. Look at that patterned paper on the back. Gorgeous little floral stripe pattern there. And we'll get this laid down on there. And I've already got my sentiment on there. I went ahead and stamped, take the scenic route on there. And I did stamp this and heat emboss it, so it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. Don't know that you can see it on the video, but I think it turned out really pretty. And now I'm going to bring in those enamel dots, and we're going to lay a couple of them down on my panel card. And for that, I'm just going to use some of the red ones. I just felt like there was kind of a lot of wide open space on this panel card, and so I thought, well, I'll just fill it in with some of these enamel dots that were included with the kit. And so I'm just going to do a small, medium, and a large, and just use one of each size on there and just kind of fill in that area and just add a little extra interest to the card. If I can get a hold of it, we'll get it laid down on there. And I think they turned out nice. So here's our first card with our Pick Happiness. We've got our little fox, and I think it's super cute. Pattern paper is just gorgeous. And then here is our little mouse, your berry special, with our little bow and our little doily that you can pick up in the shop. And then here's my scene watercolor card, and I think it's really pretty. I like this one, I think, the most. So I hope you like it. If you do, consider hitting the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Here's some videos you can check out.